Hi guys, I've made this little video for you to learn how to make a viewfinder, so just follow along. If you need to stop for any reason, press pause and pick up where you left off. So what you should have is a piece of heavy paper like cardstock. You can even use cardboard like from the side of a cereal box, or just some kind of heavyweight paper. You can use regular computer printer paper. You might want to double it up just to make it hold its shape a little bit better. It'll work better for you that way. So we'll get started. It doesn't matter what size paper you have. So what we're going to do is take our ruler and we're going to measure an opening on our piece of paper. So over here it says measure your paper and draw a rectangle of equal but smaller lengths. So the paper we're going to be doing our still life drawing on is 9 by 12. You have pieces in your portfolio, so you should be using those to do your work with. So because that paper is 9 by 12, we want to cut our rectangle open with a smaller opening than our paper, but it should be of equal size to your paper. So we're using 9 by 12, so our opening could be like 3 inches by 4 inches because that divides evenly into 9 by 12. Okay? So your 3-inch side is going to be your 9-inch side, and your 4-inch side would be your 12-inch side when you're looking through it. So what I'm going to do is take the narrower length of my paper. I'm going to put my ruler to the edge of the paper, and I'm going to move in a little bit because I don't want my opening up close to the top. So I'm going to start at my 1-inch mark to give myself a 1-inch border here, and then I'm going to count over 3 inches. So I'm going to make a little mark here. At my 1 inch, I'm going to move over 1, 2, 3 inches, make another little mark. Now, because we want the line to go straight, we're going to slide it down our paper and make the same marks again, just to give something for our ruler to go up against when we draw that line. So we're starting in again at the 1-inch mark, counting over 1, 2, 3 inches, making our second mark. Now we've got these marks right here and here. So before we draw our line in place, we're going to turn our paper to the other side. So we're going to line our ruler up again, this way going the lengthwise. I'm going to move in a couple of inches, so we'll start with our 2-inch mark for me. I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to slide my ruler over, make another little mark on the 2-inch spot. And then we're moving, this time we're going to do 4 inches. So we're going to go from that 2-inch spot and go down 1, 2, 3, 4 inches to make another little mark. Slide it up. Make sure it's lined up with the edge of your paper. Count from that 2-inch spot again. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. Make another mark. So you should have 8 little marks, kind of marking out where that rectangle is going to go. We're going to use our ruler, line those marks up. And we're just going to kind of make a nice light line going across each of those sides. This doesn't really have to be tidy, but you want to get those lines drawn. So this part right here is what we're going to cut away, this part in the center. Because what that's going to do is create a window for you to look through, to look at your still life. And it's going to give you an idea of how those objects would line up on your paper. So at this point, what you want to do is, I have a utility knife, an X-Acto knife here at school. This may not be something that you have at home. If you have scissors at home, you could use that to cut your opening. So there's a couple ways that this can be done. If you do have a utility knife, make sure you get permission from your parents because they're sharp, they can be dangerous, and I don't want anybody getting hurt, okay? So if you do have a utility knife at your house, make sure you have permission from your parents. Make sure something is set up underneath so you don't cut into a surface like a table. That would be bad. And you can go ahead and use it as long as your parents say it's okay. If not, I'll show you how to get into this with a pair of scissors to make your viewfinder. So if you do have a utility blade at home and you've got permission, you've got your ruler, you can use that to cut along your edge. I'm going to turn it this way so that I'm cutting away from my holding hand, and it makes a really nice clean line going along the edge of your ruler. So you see, nice clean edge. So this is a really useful tool. We do use it in school as long as we're being safe. However, if you don't have one of these at home, easy enough. You take something sharp, like a pencil. You want to make sure you have something underneath. You can use like cardboard out of your recycle bin, or just make sure you put a couple pieces of paper underneath so you don't poke through onto a table. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right in the center. And you're going to grab a hold of your piece of paper and poke your way through. So see, I just made a hole in the center. That's going to give us a spot to stick our scissors into and cut out to those lines. So you want to be really careful when you get out to the edges to cut your lines really nice and straight. I'm going to cut out the inner part. Of your rectangle. You want those edges to stay nice and straight because they're going to help you line up your objects in your still life or your paper. So once you have that done, you'll have something that looks like this. And now you can see, to clear away some of my supplies, that this can be used to line up with your still life and figure out how you want those objects to look on your paper. So if I were looking at my stick and my pumpkin here, my driftwood and pumpkin, I could orient it this way. So my pumpkin's in the bottom corner, or make it in the top, slide it to the edge. It'll give you a chance to kind of figure out how you want that composition to go. It really is helpful. It makes it so that you can kind of line up where on your viewfinder it is and use that negative space to get your objects down with those contour lines onto your final piece of paper. So this is a very helpful tool. Hopefully you will make one and use it to do your drawing. The little bit of work it takes to make one of these saves you a lot of work during the drawing process when you're laying out that still life. So have fun.